But if you were to go out and poll women on what they like, it's going to be a lot smaller than you think. It's going to be smoother than you think. It's going to so not represent a.
How do you make sure the toys are going to fit people's bodies? Do you have to like measure people's parts?
So we'll prototype a toy, right? We'll go through the whole process of manufacturing essentially. We'll sculpt the toy. We still sculpt toys out of clay. We sculpt them digitally in CAD. We sculpt them in 3D modeling software that's used in the animation world, so they can get really skin texture and look really real. And then we'll make the version of the toy, and we'll send it to 10 to 20 people that we believe that, you know, their their personal human form factor is larger than average, and we'll send those out, and we'll get feedback in a week or two, and they'll say, hey, worked for me too long, worked for me too short, worked for me too small a diameter, not enough curve. And so then we'll make the changes right in the sculpture and the design, and we'll retool it, and we'll send it back out to those people. Here are your changes. What do you think? Oh yeah, that if it was just a little shorter, and if we get a consensus, right? We get this consensus so it works with a variety of body types, a variety of things, but it hits its intended purpose. Then we go to final tooling and we bring the toy to market. Again, that's how we do it. And it's not designed for a retail shelf at Tanis. It's designed for the human body. It's designed to be played with and feel freaking amazing.
Is it harder to design toys for men or women?
In the 60s, men were the largest. In the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, men were the largest demographic of purchasing adult toys. And they're still probably 50%, whether they're purchasing it for their partner or not. Men are a lot easier to satisfy, because once that gets going in the human brain, they're just on and ready. Women have become, they are savvy shoppers. Even getting feedback from reviewers, because you could send a toy to a bunch of guys and what do you think? Oh, it's fucking great, right? Versus you send it to women and you're like, hey, the curve could be a little deeper, the toy could be a little longer, it could be a little less in diameter, right? Because men buy toys for women. They think that all women want these big, huge toys because I can't satisfy her. She needs a bigger dick. And that's not the case at all.
Best-selling toy for men, best-selling toy for women.
I'm going to answer this as a industry broad, not just my company. The best-selling sex toy for women, I believe, has always been the rabbit, and I think you saw that from the TV show. But the rabbit is probably the number one selling sex toy for women. Um, Not necessarily that it works the best. There's some great rabbits out there, but they're very far and few between. Um, and best-selling sex toy for a man would probably be, for me, it's definitely our small cock rings, our super soft cock rings. You can put those on when you're hard, and plugs as well. The 60s, men were the largest. In the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, men were the largest demographic of purchasing adult toys, and they're still probably 50%, whether they're purchasing it for their partner or not. Men are a lot easier to satisfy, because once that gets going in the human brain, they're just on and ready. Women have become, they are savvy shoppers. Women are the people that know about phthalates, cadmium, bad things in their sex toys. And they're pretty specific of what they want for the human body, for their body. Um, and women care much more about color. A guy doesn't give a shit, right? Right? I mean, women know what they want, and they're much more savvy and much more knowledgeable about their purchases. So definitely designing a toy for a woman. Even getting feedback from reviewers, because you could send a toy to a bunch of guys and what do you think? Oh, it's fucking great, right? Versus you send it to women and you're like, hey, the curve could be a little deeper, the toy could be a little longer, it could be a little less in diameter, right? Because men buy toys for women. They think that all women want these big, huge toys because I can't satisfy her. She needs a bigger dick. And that's not the case at all.
Is there a color that people seem to like more than others?
Purple, by far, across the board for female toys, is the number one selling color, and red and black for men. Now, I'm not saying that other colors don't sell, but the variants of purple, literally 10 to 1 for female toys is purple. Black usually outsells red in the men's community 2 to 1.
What's the worst selling color?
Green. Green. Yeah, or like, yeah, green. Green or dull brown or, yeah, these sorts of things. But green is by far the worst. I mean, you think about it, you're having sex with a zombie, I guess.
Are skin tones popular?
We make a prosthetic device called a packer. And it's for people who want to put walk around with a bio male organ in their pants to feel more true to their soul, which they have every right to do. And so we make this, and we make it in 3 skin tones. But one of our number one sellers of that is actually in a purple, just because it's like, look, I want to feel it, but I don't necessarily need to exactly replicate a skin tone. It kind of just says, this is fucking me. I'm sorry, this is me. I'm sporting purple, man. It's they're called packers. I'm sporting purple. I'm packing purple. I don't need to pack some stupid skin tone. I got purple in my pants. And I think that's really fun, man. I think it's really cool. I think actually skin tones, they're down there. I don't think people are necessarily as into, it's again, that's a male question. If you're a female interviewer, you'd be asking me a lot of different questions, but a male buys a toy thinking that it's something that, my partner is missing. And it needs to be real, and it needs to be larger than me, or it needs to look real. That's what my wife is missing. But if you literally polled women on, which has been done by us, but if you were to go out and poll women on what they like, it's going to be a lot smaller than you think. It's going to be smoother than you think. It's going to so not represent it.
So is this industry fundamentally different than other businesses, or is it a business at the end of the day?
It's not what you think. Everyone thinks that I sell my soul to the devil and I'm going to make millions of dollars. Well, the reality is it's manufacturing. Straight up, you have to supply a product that the customer wants. You have to provide service that the customer needs. You have to stay on top of technology to provide the customer with the service that they. I mean, you deal with supply chain. You deal with raw materials. It is literally the same, except when you walk in the back of my building, the shape of the things in the back of my building are different than the shape of the things in the back of other buildings.